What's going on? Good morning, y'all. It's a bright and sunshiny day here in Temecula, California. It's an awesome morning. I've had an awesome morning so far. I'm here in Temecula, currently getting my car serviced, but I thought, you know what? While they're servicing my car, why not just go out on this great sunshiny day and just kind of, let some thoughts out. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let some thoughts out. I'm just going to let whatever fly, but I do have something in particular that I do want to talk about. Got a lot of cars coming through here, so you're going to hear a lot of noise. It's a heavily trafficked area. There's a lot going on. It's around car dealerships and whatnot, but we're going to rock with it. We're going to let it fly. Check it out. Listen. Why is everyone so afraid to stand out and to be themselves? Honestly, excuse me, I'm kind of experimenting with camera angles as well, but again, it's all a learning process. You have to understand, I'm still a new creator, so this is something that I'm actually currently getting used to right now. I'm not used to making myself publicly visible. I'm normally quite reclusive. I'm normally very introverted. So I tend to keep things to myself, and in whatever business that I gotta handle, I tend to keep it to myself, and I tend to keep things on the down low. I like to keep things low key, but that's neither here nor there. Listen. Everyone is so afraid to stand out and to be themselves. As a matter of fact, shout out to Ryan Holiday. I remember reading a book, and I believe the book was Courage is Calling. It's the first of his 4 virtue series, Courage is Calling. So I read that and Discipline is Destiny, but I haven't got to the other 2 yet, but that's neither here nor there. What I'm actually pointing this out, and the reason why I'm actually pointing that out is because in that book, I believe there's a chapter in one of the sections in which he says the most fearful thing to be in today's world is to be yourself. Unfortunately, we live in a world where it's much easier, much more comfortable, and sometimes safer and profitable to be a follower. Now, I disagree with the profitable part, but this is kind of the sentiment of some people are saying. So I thought, you know what? I've always been kind of different. A part of me has been afraid to stand out and has been afraid to step into my purpose, primarily because I was concerned about what other people thought about me. When in reality, I shouldn't have given a fuck about what people thought about me. I just continue to go out, do whatever it is that I do, and just live my life. Because as far as we know, this is the only life that you're going to have. So why not live the best life that you possibly can? Listen. I'm out here holding a stabilizer, talking to a phone. Most people aren't doing this shit. So it gives me an opportunity to innovate and to do things that most people are unwilling to do. To be honest with you, I'm already doing shit that most people are unwilling to do. Just to bring up a couple examples, I don't work 40 hours a week. I work way more than 40 hours a week. Not only that, I'm heavily into fitness, and I actually have a 6-pack. Now, why do I mention this? Now, on the surface, it might seem like I'm a bit narcissistic, but actually, I'm actually trying to illustrate a point to you guys. And the point that I'm trying to illustrate is that if you actually look up the data and statistics, the amount of people that actually have a 6-pack is less than 10%. I don't remember the exact numbers, but it's somewhere around the ballpark less than 10%. Listen, you gotta stand out. In any way, shape, or form that you can do, you gotta stand out. And you can't be afraid to do so. We live in the world today to where you're pretty much forced to innovate. And even forced to create. Because if you can't do that, if you don't do that, you're gonna be left behind. If you want the results of the few, you're gonna have to do what the few do. And if you want the results of the many, you're going to have to just keep doing the things that most people are doing. And most people are afraid to step out. Most people are afraid to step into the spotlight, and sometimes you don't really need to step into the spotlight, but most people are just quite simply afraid to be themselves. They're afraid to stand out. And a lot of this has to do with groupthink, a lot of this has to do with social public shaming. Listen, I hear a lot of this talk online, especially in the spiritual pockets of the online groups, and a lot of the things that they talk about is the humiliation ritual. It's not just a spiritual thing, it's a social thing as well. Think about it. We as human beings are social animals. We have to operate with some degree of social cohesion. Oh, I like that beamer, but I don't like that soft top. Sorry, I'm very picky with specific details, but We as human beings are social animals. We have to operate with some degree of social cohesion. And we do this because we don't stand out. And because we don't stand out, we so easily fit in, we can live a happier life, we can get along with people, etc. Listen, if you want to stand out in today's world, if you want to be among the few, if you want to be the exceptional, you have to stand out. You have to do the thing that most people are unwilling to do. If that means you got to look like a fool and feel weird talking to a camera when everybody else could possibly be looking at you and people are constantly driving by you, that's what you have to do. Unfortunately, most people aren't willing to do. But then again, if you really think about it, fortunately, most people aren't willing to do it. I'm fortunate because this is an opportunity for someone like me to go out and do it. Now, the sun is blazing right now. It's blazing coals, but anyway, I'm not going to be before you guys long. I just wanted to express that you got to stand out, especially in the age of artificial intelligence and of AI. You have no choice but to stand out. AI and artificial intelligence is going to replace commonality, and at some point, you're going to have to find another angle in, and it's going to require for you to be creative and to be the exception. And the only way that for you to be the exception is that you have to take chances, and you have to take risks, and you have to do things that most people are unwilling to do. That's just how it is. That's just how the game is played. There's so much money out here. There's so much opportunity out here, but most people are afraid to seize it because they cannot step out of their shells. If they don't step out of their shells for fear of being judged, for fear of being disliked, whatever it may be, listen, I don't give a fuck about what people think. I really don't. As a matter of fact, I've been practicing these type of style of videos and vlogging, so these mini vlogs, just so I can actually develop or to fine tune what it is that I'm doing. Very quickly, as you do this, you get over the fear of just thinking about doing it, and you just do this shit anyway. Excuse me, it's a lot of walking. Obviously, it's very hot outside, but it's like I've been saying earlier and like I've been saying before. You have to stand out in some way, shape, or form. You're gonna pass by people. People are gonna look at you. There are people who are, look, you can see in the background. You can see in the background right up here. There are people, there are cars constantly driving through. They probably look at me like I'm crazy or I'm weird or that I'm some sort of alien. Listen, I don't give a fuck because I've been an alien my entire life. Real talk. See, what I do over here on my channel is that I'm marketing and selling authenticity because that's who I am. How I am on the internet is exactly how I am in real life. I'm not an exaggerated version. I don't do anything different. I don't do anything special. There ain't nothing really special about what it is that I'm doing. I just have the courage and the willingness to take action to talk about the things that matter to me at this given point in time. I don't go off of a script. I don't have a script. I generally have an idea of what it is that I want to talk about, and then I just get on camera and talk about it. But most of you are afraid. Listen, fear is a compass. Fear is a compass. You're gonna hear me saying this quite a few times throughout my content creation journey. Fear is a compass. What that means is that whatever it is, the thing that's giving you anxiety, the thing that you're afraid of, that's the thing that you need to confront, and that's the thing that you need to pursue. You need to go on that journey. Listen, fear is a compass. The thing that you're afraid of is the direction that you need to go towards, especially if you want to grow as a human being, especially if you want to grow professionally, especially if you want to grow in your fitness journey. Whatever endeavor or purpose that you are pursuing, you have to get out of your shell, and at some point you're gonna have to have a bias for action and take action. And you gotta do this shit consistently. This can't be a one-off thing here and there. And listen, people who like posting, it's not as consistent, there's no set schedule for it, but it's consistent enough to where you know, oh, okay, he's still posting. Oh, okay, he's doing stuff. Listen, I'm probably gonna get little to no views. This is probably not going to be reflected until much later in my content creation journey when I actually start getting some traction. Then they're going to revisit my earlier videos, and then they're going to see, oh shit, he was this way the entire time. If anything, I'm just going to be a better, more improved version of who I am now. And it has to be that way. It has to be that way because look, as far as we know, again, this is the only life that we get. Life is short, life is fleeting. Why not live the best life that you can? But you're gonna have to abandon the fear to do so. Because most of these people, I'm just gonna be completely honest with you, most of these people are so reclusive, and even the ones that are extroverted and not reclusive, they don't see myself, someone like me, doing some shit like this. And it's funny because I'm actually more introverted. So the fact that I'm actually doing this shit just proves the point. You have to have a bias for action. Listen, the anticipation of doing so, even when I thought about taking this journey for the first time, I got anxiety upon doing it. I got anxiety just upon doing it. But when you actually go out of your way to get out of your shell, get out of your comfort zone, get the fuck out of your comfort zone. That's a whole nother thing. If anything, if you have not taken anything from this video, take these two things. Get out of your comfort zone and have a bias for action. You cannot be common and average and regular anymore. That's a whole nother video that I plan on dropping, but you can't be average anymore. You just can't. You can't do what most people are doing. That is a recipe for failure. Maybe in decades past, you could have gotten away with that. But in today's world, with the rise of artificial intelligence, with high inflation, especially here in California, listen, here in Cali, there's a lot of noise going on around me, y'all. Here in Cali, I'm just gonna give you the real. You're either somebody or you're nobody. A lot of people like to look at Cali as like, oh, it has certain problems here and there. There's the homelessness, there's the high cost of living, stuff like that. Listen, I'm all for that. You know why? Because of the mental reframing that I have. You see, I think about it a bit differently. How I think about it is this. Listen, here in Cali, you're either somebody or you're nobody. There is no in between. People in the middle, they get run the fuck over, and everybody else is where they're gonna be slotted. You're gonna be slotted whether you realize it or not. You're gonna be slotted whether you believe it or not. Whether you want to be slotted or not, you're gonna be slotted. It just is what it is. It even says in the word of God, you're either hot or you're cold. If you lukewarm, I spit you out my mouth. And at the end of the day, you gotta pick a side. Do you want to do what most people are doing, be average, be regular, be ordinary? Or do you want to do what the few are doing and strive to be exceptional, even if you have to die trying doing so? Listen, 50 Cent got the formula right. You either get rich or you die trying. There is no other way, other alternative. And I love talking about money and stuff like that because it's a reflection of how things are going to be moving forward in today's world. And again, I'm going to elaborate this on a different video, but we're in a class war, people. Ladies and gentlemen, we're in a class war. Anything that you can do in any way that you can stand out, you got to stand out. It just is what it is. Listen, I got a confident way of carrying myself, even though I consider myself quite introverted. You know, I got a sense of style about me. Listen, you don't have to like it. It's cool. Everybody has their own thoughts, their own opinions. But one thing that you can't be is that you can't be a coward. You can't be afraid. You got to take risks. You got to take chances. You have to be willing to be looked at like an alien, to be laughed at, to be humiliated to get to it. Because first they ignore you, and then they laugh at you. Then they fight you, and then you win. I believe that's what the saying goes, but regardless, it is what it is. At the end of the day, it's as I said before, you're either somebody or you're fucking nobody. That's just what I wanted to get to it. That's the message that I have for you guys. Don't be afraid to stand out. Don't be afraid to actually be yourself. We need people who are authentically themselves, especially in today's world. It is much needed. You have no idea. There's so many fake ass people around here. But you gotta be real. You gotta stand up for yourself. You have to have principles. You have to have morals. You have to have a personal sense of ethics. Whatever it is that you got going on, listen, you just gotta be yourself. It doesn't matter if people are laughing at you or not. It doesn't matter if they're looking at you sideways or strange or not. You just have to have the courage to be yourself. As a matter of fact, they all should be looking at me. I look good. I look good out here. It's a fact. The sun loves me. God loves me. And if God's with me, who can stand against me? That's just what I got going on. Listen, be authentically you. Be unapologetically you. Don't be afraid to stand out. But most importantly, do not be afraid. Get out of your shell. It's time for you to step into your purpose and step into the light. All right? I got y'all. I'm just going to continue to be a living example, and that's what it is going to be what it is. Catch you guys on the flip side. Deuces.